Hello, oddities, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, then where have you been? Welcome. Enjoy your stay. Anyway, today we are working on another Sims 4 build challenge. However, to switch things up a little bit, I have taken on the Sahm and Bean Tiny Town One House is a Blank challenge. I'm super excited, and we're going to throw in a very niche kind of fandom right now, but it's one I've been a part of since probably before I was born, thanks to my parents. But we're going to do it so that it's a tiny town where every lot is a different Harry Potter character. There are 16 lots total, which means we are going to have quite a variety of characters to kind of throw into the mix. I'm also really excited to, once we come to the end of this 16-part series, I'm really excited to see who else you guys want me to build houses based off of. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Let's jump into the speed build. Okay, so I really wanted to keep Harry's build super simple. I did this fairly early on when I decided to start doing small builds and stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with my random prompt generated challenge, then I'll have it linked down below. I was trying to push myself in that challenge, so I wanted to do something really simple and really like fun for this one, and I ended up doing literally the most simple of builds. I don't think I pushed myself at all with this build. I left everything very minimal and kind of tried to focus on just trying a new shape and having a bit of a fun shape that was like kind of quirky. And I think I managed to pull that off. I don't think I've ever built a house that was this A-line. Looking at the build, I was trying to focus on having very reddish orange kind of colors in the build to represent Gryffindor House, which is Harry's Hogwarts house for anyone who doesn't know. I also didn't do any of these builds as a financial challenge because my nightmare prompt challenge is already a very big like specific amounts of money challenge, and I really wanted to kind of just be able to have free reign over how I did things and not, you know, push myself too much financially and kind of just really enjoy it. So yeah, so the house is very simple, very straightforward. Didn't I didn't overcomplicate much. Yeah, I really like how the exterior came out. I definitely think at some point I'm gonna go back and redo Harry's house. I've actually pre-recorded Hermione's house as well. So next to Hermione's house, it actually looks very plain and very simple, which, I mean, I feel like fits Harry's character very well. He's a very straightforward, down-to-earth person. So yeah, I eventually changed a lot. There's actually a clip that we're gonna come up on of me going back and editing a few things when I was trying to do the walkthrough with you guys. And yeah, I ended up not liking quite a chunk of stuff, and I ended up like redoing it. But I actually am really happy with how the house turned out in the end. I think that I really definitely have improved a lot since I did this build. This was one of the first pre-recorded builds that I have. I mean, at the time of recording this, I have 5 of my nightmare prompt challenges filmed and recorded and built and everything, and then I have the first 3 of my Harry Potter builds done. And This one, definitely you can tell it was very early on. It was the beginning of the challenge, and it's very obvious that it was the beginning of the challenge. Like, spatially, instead of just bulldozing it and trying to like come up with a new way of doing it or keeping the base shape and editing a few things, I just was like very stubborn and was like, no, this is what I want to do with it, so I'm going to do it. Whereas now I would very happily just bulldoze an entire house. I mean, spoilers for the next one that you guys are going to see next week, but I did exactly that with Hermione's house. I wasn't liking how it was coming out. I didn't like the shape, I didn't like the style, and I completely bulldozed the entire thing and redid it. And I think that that's a really important thing to kind of acknowledge that you do sometimes, is sometimes you just don't like how a build has come out, and it is 100% okay to not like how your build has come out. It's 100% okay to also just be like, well, it looks like this now, and to just move on and leave it. I didn't like how it had come out, but I wasn't willing to bulldoze and start again. So instead, I just kind of went with it and added in a few pieces I really do like. I was super detailed in the kitchen. I put a lot of clutter. I put a lot of like trinkets and stuff. I didn't make it super over cluttered though. I definitely focused on lived in cluttered rather than over cluttered. But I definitely cluttered it way more than, for example, my first ever Nightmare Prompt Challenge build. That one was very undercluttered. But again, my Nightmare Prompt Challenge will be linked down below if you guys want to watch. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed messing around with the kitchen. I actually spoke to my editor when they were busy doing it, and they were saying that they found everything I was doing in the kitchen super fascinating because they don't play Sims. My stuff is the first Sims stuff that they've ever edited. So I also don't think they consume Sims content like at all. I think they definitely got a taste of a new fandom through me, which is a vibe. So we're wrapping up the kitchen at the moment, and this is me just struggling with life. I had no idea how I wanted to pull off what I was trying to do. I really was struggling with so much of this house, and I think that because I just really wanted things to come out a specific way, I wasn't allowing myself much fluidity in my choices, and as a result, I just ended up being so all over the place and picky, and I ended up changing everything a million times. So I think in the future, I definitely need to be a little more decisive and go in with more of a clearer game plan than I did here. I really like the overall vibes of the house. I will say I made a lot of early beginner playing errors. In the way that I made the dining room way too big when I didn't have to. I didn't do the living room very well. I kind of like how it came out in the end once I fixed it, but I didn't really do it the best. And so I definitely have learned a lot from this build, and as a result I love this build for that reason. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and I definitely will be changing stuff a ton. And I actually really love how I ended up fixing it and how I went in after kind of having sat with it for a while. I made the whole place a lot darker, not because I think that it suits Harry's aesthetic or anything like that, but more because I feel like it's very accurate to the time. You know, it back in the 90s when Harry would have, graduated and everything. I can definitely see this type of house being very popular. It definitely isn't inspired by the time period, It's a beautiful house, and I was trying to very much be like, oh yeah, upgraded version of 12 pivot drive, and I don't think I pulled that off 100%, but I think I definitely did well in terms of just overall vibes and aesthetic. I've gotten a lot better with landscaping. I have learned how to alt place. I've learned how to kind of feel out the overgrown versus, something that's overgrown versus something that just isn't manicured. And I think that Harry probably wouldn't, do his garden constantly and have it very meticulous, but it would be neat. So I just made sure to kind of keep that vibe going. This is the part where I come back in and I really go at it and kind of figure out how I'm gonna do stuff, because I completely forgot to add a bathroom. Yeah, I had no idea. So there's literally no bathroom until right this very second. I completely left it out. Um, Tragic, I know. But I eventually went in and did like a small built-in room and kind of just did it through there. But again, not really like my favorite way to do it, but it definitely worked out. I'm gonna hand things over to Past Me, who did the walkthrough, and have them explain more. Okay, so as we can see, I kept with the sort of reddish brown color scheme. Please ignore the house on the left. I had to re-record the walkthrough of Harry's house because the file was corrupted for some reason, which really sucked, but it happens to the best of us. So yeah, I really like how I did it. I definitely left the garden very plain and kind of dull. I didn't want to make it too out there and everything, because I kind of really wanted to focus on the fact that Harry probably wouldn't be the most into gardening in the world, but I still think it looks great. So if you come in straight through the door, you get this immediate like lounge that's really small, kind of cozy and intimate, but it's got a ton of space. Luckily, this wasn't a financial challenge. I had infinite money, so it was really fun to be able to pick something a little more stylized and really play around with that side of it. We also have the staircase to upstairs just right there. I find in these small houses, these ladders are so much more helpful than the actual staircase. The only issue that I have found is toddlers can't use it. So you would have to have the toddler room either downstairs, or you'd have to have some form of amenities upstairs for the toddler. But kids and up can use it, so all right, then if you come past the lounge, we have a beautiful dining room. I liked the kind of glass accent pieces. I felt like it was very sophisticated. And it's kind of that thing where you go, well, I have money for a dining room table. And the dude at IKEA said this was one that was really good. So I got it. And that's why he has sort of a matching glass table with a TV stand. And I feel like that was the logic behind why he got glass, but I'm probably overcomplicating it a little. I put very little decor on it because, again, I don't think he tends to clutter stuff very often, in terms of just he's never really had the opportunity to, so he doesn't know like the right way to clutter stuff. But I left it with red as the main color with lots of white accents. And yeah, I really like how it came out. The kitchen is probably one of my favorite rooms by far. Is the tree? Oh, the tree's clipping. There we go. It's a little over into the next lot, but it's not clipping anymore. That's what matters. Anyway, so I really like how I did the kitchen. I think that it just looks stunning. I liked that I put in these open shelves under the cabinets to kind of add a little extra dimension and show that he does have a fair chunk of stuff. He's just very kind of minimal in what he has. We have just the basic appliances that are slightly upgraded, but still like very, not too expensive or anything like that. Who are we kidding? This is the dude who wanted to buy a solid gold cauldron in his first year because he finally had the money to. So he probably would have really nice stuff, but I decided to keep him humble, I guess. But over here, we have a coffee machine with a really cute, like, mug setup that I thought just really matched the vibes and was just really adorable. But that's the downstairs. I really like how simple and elegant I made it. I really tried to keep it, like, not too cluttered or busy, I guess, and to kind of really focus on just the overall like aesthetic of the place. If we go up a floor, we have the main bedroom, or the only bedroom, I suppose, with actually, I really like it. It's got minimal decor. It's got some Harry Potter posters and everything like that, which I thought were really cool that I got off of the gallery. So it will probably show up as having custom content if you use this because it's from the gallery, but there isn't actually any custom content. Then we've got a really small bathroom that has no sink. So let me fix that. I really thought I was getting better at remembering to put sinks in places. Turns out, no. I am as forgetful as ever. But yeah, so this is the bathroom. I decided to really play into the fact that the roof was there to hide the second room, I suppose. So it's not a room. That's why the lighting is a wee bit, icky. Yeah, the lighting's gonna be terrible. It's fine. I decided to do it as like a little built-in room, which is why we have like the little arch instead of an actual door to help with the lighting a little. But we have an accent wall in red at the back, and I really like how the room came out. I really think that the bathroom was a weird of a I have to finesse this kind of situation, but I think it came out really well. I like how I did the colors for this one, and I really just kind of like the overall aesthetic of it. I think it came out really, really well. And yeah, that's Harry's build, guys. And that is the house, guys. I am actually so happy with how it came out. The fact that I had to go in and edit one or two things is exactly why I'm doing these challenges. It really pushes me to think outside the box, but also to remember the basics and the necessities of a Sims build. And yeah, I had an absolute blast doing this house. Tune in next week for our regularly scheduled Nightmare Prompt Challenge, and I will see you then. Bye, oddities.